The word peptide is a marketing catch-all, grouping insulin and weight loss shots with unregulated powders from research websites. Structurally, it's just a short chain of amino acids, a protein fragment identical to the building blocks in your food. These compounds are not new or fringe science. The first peptide isolated for medical use was insulin, back in 1921. While the word peptide describes the physical size of a molecule, it provides zero insight into what it actually does to the human body, or whether it has been tested in humans. This structural reality is why almost all of these compounds require refrigeration and needles. They cannot simply be taken as standard pills. If you swallow a peptide, your stomach enzymes treat it exactly like a piece of chicken. The digestive system chops the chain back into individual amino acids, and the active compound is destroyed before it can reach your bloodstream. When injected to bypass the gut, peptides function as cellular text messages. One tells the pancreas, release insulin. Another tells your brain you're full. A third tells damaged tissue, repair. Sending extra copies of these messages successfully amplifies the biological response, but it often brings the system's natural trade-offs, turned up to the same volume. We can categorize these options by the strength of the proof behind them. At the top are Tier 1 medications, FDA-approved treatments like semaglutide that have cleared massive human trials. These work by copying a hormone your gut already releases after a meal. They slow stomach emptying and turn down appetite signals in the brain. In the Step 1 trial, semaglutide produced nearly 15% average weight loss. In mid-stage testing for retatrutide, that reached 24%. The medical trade-offs here are well documented. Common gastrointestinal side effects, dose-dependent increases in heart rate, and a rare thyroid tumor warning on the label. Tier 1 represents the industry's highest standard of proof. It serves as the benchmark for every other peptide. Moving down to Tier 2 brings compounds with mixed evidence, like tesamorelin and MK677. Instead of replacing growth hormone, they nudge your glands to produce more. This raises your levels of IGF-1, the body's main growth signal. Users typically see the short-term results they really want: leaner body composition, faster recovery, and noticeably better skin. However, biology rarely offers a free lunch. The same growth signaling that creates a more youthful appearance now often correlates with shorter overall lifespans across various species. Activating these signals systemically means you are growing everything the hormone reaches. This introduces risks of worsened insulin resistance, fluid retention, and the potential to accelerate the growth of an undetected tumor or the prostate. For most users, Tier 2 requires a specific transaction, exchanging long-term systemic stability for immediate physical enhancement. At the experimental end is Tier 3, the speculative frontier of BPC-157 and TB-500. These rely almost entirely on animal studies. BPC-157 is thought to strongly promote angiogenesis. It signals existing blood vessels to sprout new capillaries into a damaged area, rushing oxygen and immune cells to a torn tendon to speed healing. Because there are no finished human trials, the correct dose is a guess. Users online inject microgram doses, while actual studies for ulcerative colitis have used up to 80 milligrams, hundreds of times higher. There is also a severe theoretical risk to this mechanism. Artificially signaling the body to build a new blood supply can feed an undetected cancer just as easily as it feeds a healing muscle. That uncertainty is compounded by the trend of stacking, combining multiple unstudied peptides into a single injection, creating interactions no lab has mapped. Choosing Tier 3 means abandoning medical protocols. You are trading safety guarantees for educated biological guesswork. Beyond the biology, there is the physical reality of where the vials actually come from. There are 3 primary pathways for obtaining these compounds with differing oversight: FDA-approved, compounded, and the gray market. Vials sold online for research bypass all safety standards. They can be unsterile, underdosed, or contaminated with unapproved raw ingredients. One man believed he injected an experimental weight loss drug, but noticed he rapidly developed a tan. His vial was mislabeled. It actually contained a tanning compound called melanotan. The chemical structure of the drug itself is often far less dangerous than a total lack of oversight at the source. This legal landscape is shifting. Federal regulators and state medical boards are continuously tightening the rules on what compounding pharmacies can legally produce. Even the most effective compounds cannot replace the foundational pillars of health. No injection outworks deep sleep, high protein intake, and consistent resistance training. This video is strictly for educational purposes and is not medical advice. Any peptide use requires direct supervision and monitoring by a board-certified physician. In an industry built on biological promise, safety requires demanding clinical proof and refusing to bypass the legitimate medical supply chain.